Hey, where are we at right now?
Who the hell knows, man? Look around. I'm on the side of the thruway.
We're going to eat Nashville hot fried chicken from where?
From a truck.
What's it called?
Nashville.
Called
fried
Hen
chicken.
House.
Oh, Hen House, yes.
All right.
Hen House.
Yeah. Say it out loud.
Hen House fried chicken.
Hen House, Nashville hot fried chicken.
That's your job, isn't it? I'm retired.
All right, he's retired.
All right, we're here at the Hen House, and this is a special episode. We got a brand new sponsor, collaborator for the Mom Sauce podcast. We're doing an on-location, full interview. We get to meet the whole crew. Stay tuned. We're going to get into it. Let's meet, the chefs in the kitchen. The ideas behind the brand. So who do we got here?
I'm Sal Andalina.
Alexander Simon.
And I'm Kyle Severino.
And how do you guys know each other? Like childhood friends, work enemies, working together now? What's
So I know Kyle because I'm good friends with his cousin. So I met him through his cousin Brad and through school and whatnot. Alex was working at our Tonawanda location before it was even a hen house. He was there when it was still just like the bar's kitchen. So that's how we met him. It's actually funny because we have a mutual friend, and when I first started the trailer, I lived down around the block on Page, so our mutual friend Marcelo hit me up, and he's like, "Yo, my buddy's looking to like cook maybe on the food truck or whatever." So I sent him some info, and like nothing ever happened of it. Months go by, we're in here, and I meet him, and I go to like put him in my phone. I'm like, "Well, this is my new employee." And I'm like, "Oh, I have you on my phone already." I was like, "Oh shit, we've talked before." So
yeah, that's
awesome.
Yeah, so.
How is this chicken? What has people told you about it? Has it been too much? Is the experience for them? What's the experience people have when they eat the chicken? How does it differ from like a buffalo wing for them?
So I feel like our like medium is pretty similar to like a buffalo medium, but at the start our mild was different than a buffalo mild. Like our mild was almost too hot for like locals, so we had to change that a little bit. And then our hot, I mean, it's probably we use a dry seasoning like most Nashville hot restaurants. So it differs from like your buffalo hot. So it's definitely hotter, I would say.
I always heard this thing. I remember years ago I used to work with this guy, and he told me that to get a hot sauce to be as hot as it can be, you need to have all the things on your tongue open, like the sweet, the salty, the sugar, and all that. Is that something true to hot sauce? Because you got to have like a little bit of everything, because then it opens up all the taste buds on your tongue, and then that's what gives you like the maximum heat. Is that true? Like
I don't really know the science behind that, but I mean, there's definitely a sweet element to our chicken. So I mean, it's definitely, we're not just throwing like cayenne pepper and spice. Yeah, there's definitely some other flavors in there. So
yeah, because it made sense when he was saying it. Like I've obviously never made hot sauce before, and he was making it, and he was adding stuff, and that's what he was explaining, that like when you open up. Like when you have the sweet, savory, sugary, or whatever, salty, that opens up all the stuff, and it totally makes sense.
These are flavor portals, Mark is talking
yeah.
about.
I didn't realize I had these earbuds in the whole time. I was like, why do I sound like this?
We're always like in search of a mix of like how to make this a natural conversation, like organically, like it's so awesome and funny to hear that you guys have like no experience going there. What was the idea? Like, how'd you find the recipe? Like, what was we don't have to say the recipe because you guys have to come down here if you want anything to do with the recipe or the taste. But what inspired you to make it and keep going out here and trying different flavors? Like, how was that process? Like coming up with the actual piece of chicken you're going to use and like the seasoning. How did that work for you guys?
That would be all Sal. I mean, Sal was like the founder, like I might add, because he he got the trailer originally, and I also wanted to add I was serving prior to it, and I quit because I couldn't get Sundays off to watch the Bills. And
Mark almost quit on me a couple times.
And
for that, honestly,
and I replied to a Snapchat. So,
wow.
And then the rest is history. Like he said, we've known each other, and he's good friends with my cousin.
Okay.
But we've definitely grown like closer just through the partnership and working together and the friendship as well.
How is it? I know from my own personal experience, anytime family or friends really work together, it's a little bit of a disaster behind the scenes. You guys work well together, or do you like know? Like in my mind, like a perfect team is knowing your strengths and other people's weaknesses, so you can kind of like pick up the slack for where you know that someone's going to screw up.
Yeah, I agree with that, and it might be a good thing, might be a bad thing, but I'm almost like grateful that Sal and I weren't closer because that might have had negative effects in the long run.
Yeah.
Like I said, he was close with my cousin, but that was about it. Like we've hung out a couple times throughout like high school, but it was never like a
Like a
strong
start a business
bond.
together.
Right?
Yeah.
So
I feel like that's smart, man. Like all the best and successful things that I see, like two people come together with general like-mindedness. They're different, right? Their approach to things are different. And I think that's what makes their situation cool. And ultimately, you don't take too many things personally when you're working with someone who's not too close to you.
yeah, exactly.
That's kind of the tea that I take from that
Yeah.
situation. You know, it's like, it's tough working with people that you love too, ultimately, especially you both have a goal and a vision for certain things too. You know, if you don't reach those standards, someone's going to have an issue.
Yeah, for sure. But he was the
founding
crafter.
father.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
awesome.
exactly.
So, I mean, that was really all just kind of like trial and error. Like I said, when I got the trailer, I was originally gonna probably do like burgers. I didn't really have like a for
I
sure
love this.
idea
Wow.
for it. I kind of just saw like a like the net, like Dave's Hot Chicken and some of those other places popping up. I'd see them on my Instagram feed.
Yeah.
And like, you know, there's some places that have Nashville hot chicken on the menu here, but there wasn't like a Nashville hot
spot
chicken
for it.
joint. Yeah, like
Yeah,
a spot
yeah.
that like specializes in
I love that.
in doing that. So it was kind of just, you know, seeing an opportunity, and then pretty much I would just go on YouTube, look up a way to make it try every single recipe I found, and then just hanging out with my friends. Like, you know, no one's gonna turn down some free food, so you know, just
That's for damn sure.
yeah. So we would just chill. I would
That's
just
crazy.
have my little deep fryer, and I would just keep.
Get out. I
Try
love
it.
it. And you know what? I did a little bit of a deep dive on Mr. Sal Andolino over here. You had a cooking show for a second.
Yeah, I
you-
mean,
did you not?
it's gonna come back.
Did you not? You
Sal,
did.
It's still out there.
What's it called?
Sal Cook Stuff.
Sal Cook Stuff. We can look Sal up on Sal Cook Stuff. It was honestly, the video was hilarious. You were making stuff in your kitchen. Was it your apartment?
Yeah, my apartment.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was really good.
we're trying to revive it this
Yeah,
year. So.
You should, dude.
Yeah.
You really should.
It's funny, we were talking about that. I just recently took like a trip, but we were talking about it like a day before that about bringing it back. So
This kid's a natural over here. You know,
it was so good.
It's pretty
It was so
wild.
good.
It was like during COVID, it was just something to kill the time and just keep busy.
Not only
Yeah.
is he like really good at what he's like at cooking and showing you what he's going to prepare, but he's cute as fuck. Like he has like little dialogue that he says and like little jokes here and there.
That's awesome.
He's thinking about it, you know.
So you've been like cooking then for most of your life.
Yeah. I mean, even just as a kid, like if I went to my grandma's house, like I wasn't really hanging out with my cousins. I was like in
Yeah.
the kitchen with my grandpa cooking.
That's where it all starts.
Yeah.
You know?
And then I got started working in like a restaurant probably when I was like 10 years old at my aunt and uncle's pizzeria.
yeah, that makes
Just
sense.
doing
yeah.
like filling blue cheese cups, like cleaning
Yeah.
the place, like putting the bottles of pop in there,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
bags of chip on the rack, just
Yup.
small stuff. Worked my way up, and when I was like 12 or 13, I was like using the pizza ovens and stuff. And they tell me like, you know,
Yeah.
just kind of keep it on the down low. If somebody comes in with a badge, you don't work here.
That's hilarious.
But you know, that's how it goes in family restaurants. you
That
know,
is
getting
always the
started
best
young.
thing about like seeing like you go to like a restaurant and there's like a kid walking around with like a bus tub and you're like that's clearly someone's kid or
Yeah.
something and then people I get the whole reason why it's not good, but it also if it's like a family business, like I think it
Yeah,
adds
it's
like
different. It
you know,
definitely
people know.
you learn a lot. You learn
yeah.
a whole
I'm
lot.
You can also
always-
get around like the child labor laws. You know?
yeah, exactly.
I think there might be an exemption if they are like your
there
kids.
is.
I think
Yeah, there has to
are-
be.
There's a
Yeah.
joke in there somewhere. Nepotism and child labor laws. You know what I mean? It's funny too. I'm always trying to eat at the places that have family history. I mean, it sounds obvious to say that, but that's where Mark and I come from. Part of the reason why, I mean, a lot of people like to think of it in different ways, but mom sauce itself is just because our moms make sauce.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not, there's no sexual connotation behind any of it, you know? But I'm always after that home cooking, closest to the family, closest to the heart type of thing. And when I hear stories like that, that kind of like breeds this type of feeling for me. You know, I want to be close to that. I'm trying to eat at places that have that type of history, or at least a relationship with their family. New York City, being in New York City for a while, my favorite are the Chinese restaurants. Usually the person who speaks English are the kids. They're taking the order at the front.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're able, and then the whole family's cooking in the back. So seeing that happen, that's where I'm trying to patronize. That's what I'm trying to eat. I'm watching them make the food. I know your experience in restaurant business. I know if Sal is going to open a place, it's because it's coming from inside. It's not coming from some outside stuff. Buffalo is known for that type of vibe,
Yeah.
and I really, really value that while home and like discovering new foods and businesses around here.
Yeah.
And
Like-
sorry, yeah.
I was gonna say now. I mean, it's funny because normally it's like the kids working for the parents. Now I got my dad begging him to work the food truck with me when he's done teaching. And
Yeah,
stuff.
I love that, dude.
But that's the thing, right? Like to have like the family, because that whole vibe. Like I'm originally from Toronto, and it used to be a lot of mom and pop shops, and then it got so expensive that now it's all like corporate because they can't even afford to be in any central area. And working, like my first jobs are always I don't want to be like corporate or whatever, but like they're always more like independently owned places.
Yeah.
And there is a vibe of an independent place to a corporate place. Now, as a business owner, are you finding it hard to staff people who understand the mom and pop shop vibe, where it's like, you know, in a corporate situation, you can not show up and who cares? It's a Starbucks or whatever,
have
right?
all-
Like
all-
there's more, it's not that there's more to do at an independent place, but that you have to be able to go with the flow a bit more, and kind of everybody does everything, right? Like to a certain point, is that harder to staff? Like, is that like a hurdle that you guys have?
I don't feel like that's necessarily like a hurdle, but it's definitely a lot more challenging not having a big corporation, you know,
Yeah.
behind you. Like when people, like you said, like when people call off, like you call from Starbucks, McDonald's, they'll just pull one employee from a different location.
Yeah.
You know, it's not an issue. You can just keep moving. But yeah, it could be a little bit more tricky. You know,
It
it's more
is.
of like a family. You know,
And that's the thing, right? Because you want to be able to work with people that you want to be able to be shoulder to shoulder with in a truck, or you know, in a kitchen, and it's just crazy how that whole, like, Buffalo's unique to me because there is a lot of these restaurants popping up where really I don't know. Like in LA, when I was living there were, again, bigger places. New York, bigger places. It's like these are the things that will plant seeds to hopefully have like a long-term thing, you know, like a
Yeah.
whole new what's it called, like
I like to call it the food renaissance,
the
Mark.
renaissance. That's exactly what it is. And
Yeah.
do you think that this is a food renaissance? Like there's like a new rebirth of all these like hybrid restaurants and different, like Nashville chicken in Buffalo? Like, is that something that you've noticed like since COVID because of?
Yeah, I definitely noticed. I mean, even before COVID, like Buffalo's definitely. I mean, I'm young myself, so I don't
Yeah.
have much to speak on, but definitely seems like there's like a resurgence in like breweries and new restaurants. And
Dude, speaking from experience of just, there are times in New York where like I would come home on break and notice just a change of mom and pop places not being here anymore. And then I'm seeing like, you know, my friends go to Chipotle I'm like, we never went to Chipotle. We went
Yeah.
to
yeah,
friggin' Costa. We went to Town Restaurant. All these family-owned either Greek places or just place for Red Hots. Something that was like always family-owned. Out of the pandemic, I feel like it was a huge test of that type of business. Who is sticking around? Who is able to form a type of reputation that kept them around for a long period of time? Or literally, is there a dish here that people go for? Like specifically, just a dish, you know? So this kind of speaks for like where you guys are at as far as like being innovators of an idea. Like out of the pandemic, it's a little ballsy to be like, I'm gonna get a truck going and sling chicken that people aren't used to eating in Buffalo. Chicken is a big deal out here.
Yeah.
You say
it's a
chicken, everyone's eyes are popping up. Where am I going to get wings? Who has the best
I
wing?
think that or Chevettas.
Yeah, you're right. I can't tell you how many church parking lots I stalk during the summer, waiting for that Chevettas drop, dude.
Yeah.
Like dead ass.
Sal built some hype around like opening day, and prior to me, like, because I started off as an employee, and prior to doing that, I don't think I was like taught any proper way to do it, and there were so many little hiccups like the first day.
Oh, yeah,
but we had a line, and it was a good time, and it was a hit.
I
like,
love that. Where did
since
you guys
then.
have a line? Where was the first day? Where was the drop?
Gratwick Park in North Tonawanda.
No shit. I know exactly what you're talking
Right
about.
on
So
the
that,
river.
yeah, like
It was like April. It was like
April
middle,
4th, I
Yeah,
think.
and like the day before there was like a frost. So
I was gonna say it was cold.
Yeah,
it had
it
to
was
be
cold.
cold. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was cold. as
That's
shit.
amazing.
our water, like the water lines froze, and it was like a whole.
And you had the
shit show.
truck
Yeah.
for the opening, right?
We
We
like,
had
a
that
small
little trailer that we got in the
Okay.
back there. Yeah,
Amazing.
Wow.
Amazing. I love that.
but it kind of worked out because it was like right at the tail end of COVID, so like it was kind of still weird with like dining in. So it gave people, I found, like something to kind of like do, like
Oh,
go out to like visit the truck and everyone just eat at their
Yeah.
car or like hang out at the park.
so you may have capitalized off of that time. People were getting stir crazy. They wanted to do
Yeah.
something different. That's smart.
it was insane how many people would show up at that park.
Oh,
And
I love that.
I'm still like amazed at the fact that we had a line off that, you know, because like
Wow.
I made some Facebook posts and I knew my family and friends would come, but like
That's really cool, man.
There's also like a really nice like novelty to food trucks. Like a lot of times I'll see one like just driving around and I'll be like, oh, that place probably has good food.
Side note, I just saw the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile the other day. Is that a thing in Buffalo? I'm not even joking.
You saw it here?
I saw one like for whatever day it is today. 2 days ago, I was driving and the full-on Oscar Mayer Wienermobile drove past
That's
me.
hilarious.
This has nothing to do with anything, but there is a novelty to food trucks.
Correct
and-
me if I'm wrong, boys. We are not an Oscar Mayer wiener city. This is
No,
a
it's
Salem's
not.
town.
Absolutely.
This is
Yeah.
Salem's
Salem's
town, right?
hot
Like,
dogs.
all right.
Salem's hot
I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
This
I gotta be
was
honest.
on Delaware.
I wonder
like-
if it's like one, if there's different Wienermobiles or if they got like.
Sometimes
Fucking
Mark
wiener
says shit to just push my buttons and like to get a crazy response out of me. I've been living in Buffalo since I
I
was
wonder
born.
who's eating them.
I've never seen an Oscar Mayer wiener truck in Buffalo. This is incredible.
I don't know if I've ever really seen one. And I was with my wife. We were at a red light at Delaware and whatever where the park is, and it just went flying past us. Was the yellow and brown, massive Oscar Mayer, it was shiny. And I was like, they must be doing something, or maybe they're the headquarters.
Turf war.
Yeah.
We were talking about this before. Me and Kyle were talking about this. There are a few foods in Buffalo that are like known as Buffalo staple foods. One of them is obviously the chicken wings, right? I would say a close second is a beef on weck. We can go a little bit deeper, and what else?
Let's say the stuffed banana peppers.
Okay,
Because people do like stuffed peppers, but that style of like the banana pepper with the
yeah,
Pizza rolls.
pizza. Yeah.
pizza rolls.
Pizza logs.
logs.
Sure.
Pizza
Or pizza
log.
log.
I'm
Pizza
like,
log.
what is
Pizza
this
log.
kid talking about?
Yeah.
Pizza rolls.
Yeah.
You guys are
Pizza
very
logs.
kind. Very kind. I don't know if you know this. We mentioned it a little bit. But Mark was born and raised in Toronto. So,
Oh, yeah, so he gets a pass.
we
Yeah,
get some
yeah.
pass, right? He's close. We know a lot of our uncles are up there doing something weird. But as far as Mark goes, we have discrepancies on what things are called all the time.
Yeah.
Well, I think we were talking about literally grade school the other day. We call it 7th and 8th grade. He calls
Oh,
it
grade
grade
seven,
7
yeah.
and 8.
Grade 7 and 8, yeah.
It sounds like Yoda is
Then
talking.
there's Zed.
Zed.
Z.
Do you say that? Really?
So I don't say Zed.
Drives me crazy.
Okay, so I, for whatever reason, think that, I don't know if it was my family or the school I went to, I never got confused about it until I started hearing people say Z and Z, because I've always said Z, and then they're like, Canadians say Z, and then I'm like, do I say Z?
For what?
Like, I don't know.
For zero?
It's like a, no, like, it's
It's a
X, Y,
pronoun?
Z. Like, it's the...
It's a pronoun.
It's just something. It's just something for them to stand out.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
it's-
just a little something.
So wait. XYZ?
Yeah, it's a British thing.
No
So
way,
I don't
dude.
know. I can't tell you the whole history of it.
I hate it too now. Yeah.
Well, because I don't know. Like, for example, the thing that I always hear is like ZZ Top. I don't think it's called ZZ Top. Like, I think it's still ZZ Top, but it is pronounced in Canada and England.
Zer
Zed.
top.
Yeah.
I got you. That's weird as hell.
How do you spell color?
No, I don't. I so
Get him, Sal.
Not this one.
I because of my autocorrect, I don't use the U in flavor, color,
Theater.
Center.
Yeah.
okay.
Center. CENT.
Century. They say century,
Yeah,
don't
R-
they?
So wait,
Yeah.
how do you spell? Because I spell it CENTRE.
Oh,
So you spell it ER.
You're spelling it wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, what are vowels for? You know what I'm saying? Like that's the whole.
Well, that's the thing because I remember I was talking with my friend and he's American and I said I spelled Czech CHEQUE and he's like, oh wow, Mr. High Horse here. What are you talking about?
Only an aristocrat would spell it like that, Mark. Holy cow, dude! I have to write
Yeah.
that down. This is
Czech,
actually
yeah, the
Czech.
Czech. Because that these are little things that I didn't notice there was a big difference, but there is.
We had a couple of them. You guys still say pop, right?
I've just always said pop. I don't know if it's a Canadian
No,
thing.
you
I
said
do not
pop.
like soda. Pop, yeah.
That's
I don't
amazing.
like soda though. I don't like saying it. I'm not a soda person.
It's hilarious that people from Buffalo, we will like rip on the Canadian accent so bad. When if you take 10 minutes and listen to us, it's disgusting.
Yeah.
It's the most
It's all about the
annoying.
A's.
Yeah, right. It's when my mom calls my name, it's like trash is being taken. I mean, I love my mom, but it's Dominic.
Well,
I mean,
and this is what we've talked about. I've noticed that the American and Canadian dialect is that Canadians will say like garage or garbage, where Americans will say trash or garage. You know, like
Yeah.
they'll
Garage.
they'll pop that middle,
Yeah.
like, and it's very aggressive. Where in like for me at least, it's more rolling. Like garage
Yeah.
is it kind of goes up at the end, where you guys pop at the top.
Ontario
linguistics
kind of
lessons here.
bleeds into Buffalo a little
Oh,
bit. though.
for sure.
Because
Yeah,
you go
yeah.
like anywhere outside of Buffalo, like they recognize that accent. And I've been to Toronto a couple times, and they like haven't said anything. So I don't know if they think I'm Canadian. But then again, I've had people like be like, "Oh, like what is your accent?" I'm like, "Buffalo."
Yeah, just
What's my
Buffalo,
Buffalo
right,
accent?
right over there.
It's funny. Mark and I dork out about sound all the time, or like audio, right? And just by the way certain things sound, we have like an idea. Canadians in America, Canadians have this. There's a couple different stereotypes. The best one, which I think, is you guys are just kind. Like the motto is, you guys don't lock your doors and shit. Like you
I gotta
trust
tell
each
you
other.
the truth.
Like,
I do not. I have never believed that, and I do not believe it. Like I could be lost in Toronto and ask somebody a question, and they will ignore you. They'll walk away.
It's just a big city thing.
It's just I've been in New York, I've been in LA, and I've asked people questions, and I feel like in New York, like you've lived there longer than I have, people are always wanting to talk.
well, I'm saying it in to talk about the way the voice sounds, like
Oh,
the
okay.
way. I mean, that's definitely true. But when you're talking, I'm sorry, I'm talking about. It sounds kind. Like there's an inflection there that's a little bit kinder than
It's
if
just
you're like,
more
listen,
goofy."
motherfucker, if I want to have a piece of chicken that's not from Nashville, I'll eat it anyways. That's some Buffalo shit. Like all the vowels are shorter. They're cut
Yeah.
down. It sounds more stern. I have relatives that are talking to me. I think they're yelling at me. They're not. It's just
Yeah.
the way they talk.
Yeah.
It has, and putting a little time outside of Buffalo and coming back, I'm like, shit, am I saying the wrong thing? Am I dead? They're not. No one's mad or anything.
Yeah,
It's
a
just the
little
way
more
everyone
aggression.
sounds. You know,
The Canadian tongue is very goofy.
shorter and
Like,
longer vowels, man.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
telling you.
I love talking to people from Toronto.
Yeah,
Every
yeah.
time I go, I actually have a really good like time. I feel like people are it's easy to approach them.
Yeah.
Kind of the opposite of what you
It's funny.
said,
Maybe
but-
that is always the grass is always greener.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, I think that's exactly what it is.
It's always what it is, you know. But it is an interesting thing, and it's definitely changed a lot. And you know, the Dave's Hot Chicken. I saw it for the first time in LA, and I remember, like they had a little window, and they were doing their thing. And I guess like the whole Nashville chicken is kind of like. Is it growing like the buffalo chicken wing? Like, is Nashville chicken a style? Because, you know, I didn't even think that the idea of like, you know, when I was a kid, you had chicken fingers buffalo style. I didn't know that it was like, it was just like tossed in chicken fingers and sauce.
Chicken fingers buffalo
They're
style
like, I
sounds
think that was
hilarious.
buffalo hot or like buffalo style, and it was just tossed
Yep.
chicken fingers. Is that like now what Nashville chicken is? Is there like something that's specific to Nashville chicken that if you're at like a McDonald's and you're like Nashville chicken, is it the spice? Is it cooked a certain way? Like,
I'd say, I mean, there's probably not that many places around here doing it like the authentic way, like making your like hot chili oil and your seasoning.
That's what I
blend
want to know
whatnot.
about.
Like a lot of like pizzerias will throw Nashville, like they might have Nashville hot on their menu now. You know, it's a pre-made sauce and whatnot. So if McDonald's ever did something, yeah, it might try to replicate that flavor profile of like the sweet and the spicy. Because I mean,
Yeah.
the two main things are brown sugar and cayenne. That's
It's opening up a whole ton.
in traditional Nashville hot chicken. Like
Can't believe you just let
everyone
it out
does.
the bag, dude. Casually, just
Everybody has their own thing to make it special, but like the two main core things
Yeah.
would be brown sugar and
that's awesome.
Cayenne.
One of the
Oh,
please, Mark.
no, I was just saying that's what makes you guys unique to the Nashville. You actually have.
yeah. If you look up, and I've watched numerous videos, but like the traditional ways to take your fryer oil and some other fat, butter, margarine, or whatever, and then you combine those, and then you mix in your blend of cayenne, brown sugar, and whatever else. So that gives you like this sweet and spicy oil. You dip the chicken in that while it's still hot, so it doesn't absorb it and get soggy. And then, you know, to get more heat, you can sprinkle on some more of the seasoning
Oh,
to kind
damn,
of control
dude.
that.
About to pass out.
Do you guys have like a secret? I know that everywhere in Buffalo has like a secret way to cook their chicken wings. Do you guys have like a similar thing? Like I've been to some places where they're like, oh, you got to cook them for a couple minutes, take them out for a couple minutes, and then put them back in, or you cook them, you bake them first. Like, do you guys have like a technique that is unique to you, or is it just the spices? And...
I mean, our chicken, even if you don't get it natural, if you don't get mild, medium, or hot, our plain chicken still has a lot of spices because we have a marinade we do with the chicken, and then our like dredge, our flour blend has a bunch of seasonings in there. So
Wow.
it's not really in like the time or how long we're frying it for. We kind of just figured that out over time, like the perfect number. But
yeah.
what really makes like sets it apart is in the preparation, marinating it, brining it. And
I mentioned this before. I took my dad to that Breyer Brothers brewery, and the crunch on this chicken, dude. We were talking about it for 3 days. We also didn't have to eat much for like 3 days after. The portion is unbelievable. You could take one of the pieces of chicken off and have the sandwich by itself and eat the other piece of chicken the next day in its
Wow.
own meal.
Yeah.
It was absolutely delicious. I think another thing too, just to piggyback off this, what makes it like what it is, the skin is so crunchy, dude. What with the meat being so tender and moist still, like how is that crunch being achieved? Like what is that? It's a different type
it's
of
just,
crunch.
It's adding cornstarch into our blend.
Whoa.
So cornstarch will help. Cornstarch
Damn.
and like the fried chicken kind of helps.
Crunch it up.
Yeah, give it that crunchy, airy
Crunch it
texture
up.
to it.
It's truthfully one of those you bite into it and it's audible. Like
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
No, and that's the thing, right? Like you want to know, like for me, I like, you know, I've been trying to figure out what do people like about pizza? You know, like is it a soft dough? Is it a hard dough? Is it the crunch? Is it crust? Is it no crust? Like, do you have an idea, like going into this, did you design the recipe to what you liked, or were you trying to figure out what the general public, like your friends and family and all that, they were like, oh, it could be more crunchy, it could be this, it could be that, or were you just like, I know what I like, I want to learn how to do it well, and I just want to focus on that?
Yeah, I mean, it was just trial and error. You know, I knew I wanted what I wanted the chicken to look like, how I wanted it to, you know, come out, and as far as like the breading around it. So it's just trial and error of different flour blends and using egg as a dip, and then not using a second dip, and then, you know, there's been a bunch of revisions to get it to where it is.
That was gonna be my
now.
question. How long before you got the product? Like this is it. This is what we're
I
serving.
mean, on the trailer, we were probably still tinkering with it for. We were still tinkering with it every couple of days where I was like, all right, we're not using egg today. Or we were messing around with it. Yeah, up until when we moved to the dome, we were still made some changes.
So this was my next like little question here. So we have this location. This is on Hurdle. This is the newer spot, correct? Okay. How many locations are there? Where are they? Let's talk about those first before we talk about the place that the truck stops at. So it's this spot on Hurdle.
Yeah, this is like our main brick and mortar, like our
Amazing.
solo
The flagship.
store. Yeah.
Yeah.
HQ.
HQ.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Our food truck right now has been at Breyer Brothers Thursday through Sunday, and that's been the past couple months. Hasn't moved there. But in the
That's
summer, we
amazing.
go to different events and whatnot. Food Truck Tuesdays in Buffalo, the Larkin Food Truck Tuesdays and whatnot. So that truck's all over the place. And then in City of Tonawanda, that's where we moved. Like after it was like our first non-movable.
Yeah, we
food
hunkered down
establishment.
for the winter. It was like our first stepping stone.
There we go. Okay.
So, yeah.
Where was that in Tonawanda?
Yeah, it's city of Tonawanda at the Dome Stadium.
Oh, the Dome. This is that bar we were
Yeah.
talking about.
So there was opportunity there where they were looking for somebody to rent out the kitchen. You know, and it worked for us because it was kind of like the equipment was already there. We didn't have to do anything. It just made sense at that point. Like
Incredible.
for us to get in there and get.
So how many out of the week? When are you guys at the Dome?
That's open every day except Tuesday.
Okay, so you can get this Nashville Hot Hen House fried chicken at the Dome every day except for Tuesday. That's unreal. I
Yeah,
didn't
Tuesday
know
are the
that.
only days right now we're all
Oh
closed.
shit, dude!
Wow.
I'm gonna have to go to the Dome now too. That's crazy. How often is the Herta location open?
Right now we're just open Wednesday through Sunday here.
Incredible. Okay, and then we're at Breyer Brothers
Thursday through Sunday.
Thursday, Friday,
Every day
Saturday,
that
Sunday.
they're open, we're out there
You're
serving
there.
food.
Now, you said that you guys started with the food truck. Obviously you've had restaurant experience before, but if it was like your dream situation, would you only have food trucks, or would you, if you couldn't have both, do you like the truck better than the restaurant, or the restaurant better than the truck? Like
It's a good question.
They have their pros and cons, I imagine.
Yeah. I mean, the food truck definitely makes sense. You know, like overhead wise, there's a lot less overhead on a food truck, less employees in there. I personally just like the community of food trucks around here. Like nobody's in competition. Everybody kind of.
That's
You know,
cool.
I look forward to especially like events with other food trucks because I look forward to seeing the other owners trading food. You know, everyone
cool.
gets
I
sick of
love
eating the
that,
same thing.
dude.
So
It's just the winters. I think that's the only like trade off to them.
Oh,
yeah, the winters suck. I mean, we're probably one of the only.
You got to go with the
Trucks
birds, man.
there.
Fly south. Just fly. Once the snow starts, just drive down to like
Right.
Florida or wherever.
I'm so happy you're saying that. My parents were in the restaurant industry in Buffalo for quite some time, and one of my childhood jobs was working the Taste of Buffalo every year. And shit, man, the best part about that job was just being able to seek refuge and friendship with other people.
Yeah.
Complaining just as much as you are. We're all shot. I know you're tired, but here's 10 shepherd's pies. If I could have 15 cannolis, I'm like, yep, that's exactly how we're
Yeah.
gonna do it today. You know?
It doesn't really feel very competitive. Like there's a lot of competition, other than with like maybe some like bigger chains, but like every local restaurant like owner that I've met, everyone's been cool. Everybody helps each other out.
Oh man, I
Everybody-
love that.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful thing.
And did you know these people before you guys started from all your past experience in restaurants, or once you like kind of, get to that level of opening up a business, you have the truck or the restaurant, did they take you guys in right away, or are these past experiences that you've had with these other restaurants?
Yeah, I when we started, probably at like one of our first food trailer events. You know, like all the other, like we was like our first time really like leaving the park or the Walgreens parking lot is where we used to operate out of. But yeah, I didn't know any other buddy in the
Wow.
business, so everybody like came out, introduced themselves.
That's
Like
crazy.
two different owners gave me their number. If you need anything. So
Man, I love that
Yeah.
shit.
Wow, that is a very supportive community.
Yeah, man. It's tough. I would say in the entertainment, comedy industry, music industry, especially post-pandemic, man, everything got a little bit cutthroat and weirder.
Mhm.
It's a lot harder for you to book gigs that were normally paying weekly, monthly, whatever. And anyone who was locked into those situations really, really took that to the breast. Like, this is my situation. Anyone who comes through here, they're going to know it's my situation. So anytime something new like that in Buffalo is starting, I definitely walk into it gingerly. As far as entertainment, music, and stuff goes, hearing that about the food community is awesome. A lot of our friends are chefs. We try to enjoy the finer things. So when our friends are cooking or involved, a good friend of ours who had an episode, his name is Mike Giambra. He's the head chef at the Little Club. Learning about that type of community is a lot different than the food truck community. So to hear that there's type of commiserating and friendships and like it's easy to get along, that's a refreshing feeling, especially for small town vibes. Those are the people I want to hang out with or be near.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whether it's food, music, or anything.
So for our final thoughts, Alex, what do you have to say?
I just went to Little Club actually. It was
You did?
amazing. Yeah.
You enjoyed it?
Yeah, day after Valentine's Day.
That's amazing. We got to tell Mike.
So
What did you
Yeah.
eat?
I had the bucatini.
Ooh.
It was so good.
I think I
Yeah.
tried that. What is that?
Pasta?
It was like tomato, and we added sardines into it. So it's like kind of like a old school Sicilian kind of dish.
Yeah, I think
Reminded
he
me of
made
my
that.
grandma cooked.
Yeah, so I think he made that. I remember when I went there once, he made me something, and I think it was that bucatini.
It's classic
Oh,
Mike
so
Jambra
good.
gourmet take on peasant food, man. He's with
Yeah,
us.
for real.
Come on, us the. I want to say the word Dago. Am I allowed? Us Dagos.
You get the pass.
Wait, I get the
Yeah.
pass.
You get the
Us
pass.
Dagos know about that peasant food, man. Any bean you can
Yeah.
saute. I've eaten with
Beans,
garlic and
absolutely
onions. You know?
beans. Yeah.
That's beautiful, man. Very, very cool. Well, this has just been a real special interview. I'm really happy we got to know you guys. This is going to be more of a relationship in the future. You guys are going to be seeing a lot more of Hen House within the Mom Sauce podcast. We're going to try to do some pop-up events and some shows later on during the summer, in the spring and summer. And please get down here and get yourself this chicken. It's unfucking believable. It's a crunch that you'll never forget. And bring your dad. He'll love it too. I'm telling
690
you.
Hurdle Avenue.
There it is.